Long time back, in a distant land, there was a man who was feared by many. Can you tell me who that man was? Yes, it was Napoleon Bonaparte of France. He ruled from 1804 to 1814 CE. Now he was feared because he was a great military general. Now when the British came to rule over India, they wanted to read the things about India so that they could rule better. So they found that 1750 years ago, there was a man just like Napoleon who was feared by many. Now can you tell me who this person was? It was Samudragupta of the Gupta dynasty, and he was also known as the Napoleon of India. So we will learn why he was called the Napoleon of India later. Now here you see, this is Emperor Ashoka. Now why do you think I am showing you Emperor Ashoka over here? Let's see. So there was a time when Chandragupta Maurya established the Mauryan Empire, which became the biggest pan-Indian empire. And you see the extent of this empire. It almost covers the entire India. But though Chandragupta Maurya established the Mauryan Empire, it was Ashoka who helped to expand the Mauryan dynasty to such an extent. Now you see that such a huge empire, 50 years later after the death of Ashoka, started to crumble and break down. Now 515 years later, Gupta Empire came into existence. The Gupta Empire was founded by Sri Gupta, and the capital was set at Patliputra. So you see how Patliputra, which was the capital of the great Mauryan Empire, also became the capital of the Gupta Empire. Later as we go on, I'll tell you why Patliputra became the capital of the Gupta Empire. But how do we know about so many things from the Gupta dynasty? Is there any evidence that proves that Gupta dynasty existed? As a matter of fact, yes. So the things from where we come to know about the existence of the Gupta dynasty from its sources of history, like we have two sources, literary sources and the archaeological sources. Now what are literary sources? Literary sources are anything that we find in the written form, and archaeological sources are anything that we find in types of buildings, monuments, things like that. Now, the major literary source that we have from where we get to know about the Gupta dynasty is from the writings of Farhan and IIM. Now, who are these? Now, Farhan and IIM were Chinese pilgrims who came to India, and during their stay in India, they wrote books from where we get to know about the Gupta dynasty. Now, there is another major literary source from where we learn about the Gupta dynasty. That is from the writings of Kalidasa. Now, you may have heard his name many a times. Can you tell me who was Kalidas? Yes. So, Kalidas was one of the Navratnas in the court of Chandragupta II. So, his writings include Meghaduta and Abhijana Shakuntalam. So from these books and many other books that Kalidas wrote, we get to know about the Gupta dynasty. But these two are the most prominent ones that we even learn about. Now, which are the archaeological sources that help us to know about the Gupta dynasty? So, one of the most important is the Allahabad pillar inscription. Now, Allahabad pillar inscription was composed by Harisena. Now, who was Harisena? He was the court poet of Chandragupta II. Though Sri Gupta established the Gupta dynasty, but it was Chandragupta I who was the first important ruler, because he expanded the territories to further region from where it actually began. Now, Chandragupta I married a Lichavi princess who was named Kumara Devi, and as a gift of marriage, Chandragupta I got Patliputra. So remember, I told you I'll be telling you how Patliputra was established as the capital. So this was how Patliputra was established as the capital because Patliputra was received as a gift of marriage. Now there is one more thing. Chandragupta I was also known as Maharaja Adhiraja. That means king of the kings. Now Chandragupta I managed to conquer the region of Magadha, Prayag and Saketa and further expanded the empire. Chandragupta I was succeeded by his son Samudragupta. Now Samudragupta ruled for over 40 years. And Samudragupta is known to be the greatest of the Gupta rulers. Now can you tell me why Samudragupta is known to be the greatest of all the Gupta rulers? So Samudragupta was the one who enabled the expansion the kingdom to the greatest extent. Remember I told you that Samudragupta was also known as the Napoleon of India. This is the reason why he was known as the Napoleon of India, because he was a great military general and had great military skill. Do you know Samudragupta fought more than 100 battles and did not even lose one. Isn't that very interesting and shocking? You have already seen this Allahabad Pillars inscription. But what is so great about this? What is the actual information that we get from this? Let me show you. So the Allahabad pillar inscription talks about the military conquest of Samudragupta, how he managed to expand his territory. So you see, Samudragupta defeated 8 kings in the northern region of around Uttar Pradesh. He even defeated many kings in the south as well. Do you know at that time there was no phone, internet, so communication was very weak. So Samudragupta thought that it will be very difficult to convey his messages at the time of emergency. So very wisely he thought that he would not annex the kingdoms of the south. He would let the earlier rulers rule, but instead these rulers will have to pay him a hefty amount of money. Now Samudragupta was not only a good military general, but he also knew how important it was to maintain foreign relations. So he maintained good foreign relations because he knew that it was very important to strengthen his empire. He even established good relation with the Sakas. Now can you tell me who were the Sakas? So the Sakas, Scythians, who came from Scythia. So they are also referred to as ancient Iranian people who used to ride on horses and were nomads. So he even established good relation with the Sakas and even with the kingdom of Ceylon, which is present day Sri Lanka. Now you have already seen this picture earlier, but try to look at it closely and what inference do you get from this? This is Samudragupta playing Veena. So you see, apart from being a great military general, he was an avid lover of art and culture. I have already told you how from the writings of Farhan we get to know a lot about the Gupta dynasty. So Farhan came exactly during the rule of Chandragupta II, and during his stay he wrote details about the Gupta dynasty, from which we get a lot of information. Samudragupta was succeeded by his son Chandragupta II. Now Chandragupta II was also known as Chandragupta Vikramaditya. It was a title that he assumed. Now he conquered parts of Malwa, Gujarat and Konkan. Now having conquered parts of Gujarat, as you can see here, parts of Gujarat, Gujarat lies on the coastline. So what importance does it have? Having conquered Gujarat means that the port towns Sopara and Bharuch will be under the rule of the Gupta dynasty. So trade would become easier. that would bring enormous wealth to the dynasty. There was another way by which Chandragupta too expanded his empire. That was by entering into marriage alliance. So Chandragupta too married Princess Kuber Naga of the Naga dynasty and later got his daughter married to the king of Vakataka of the Deccan. Now Chandragupta too had many people who adorned his court. So these people were known as Navratnas, or the 9 gems or 9 jewels. One of the Navratnas was Kalidas, whose writing we have already seen serves as literary source for the Gupta dynasty. So you see how Patliputra, which was the capital of the Mauryan dynasty, became the capital of Gupta dynasty. How? Because it was received as a gift of marriage when Chandragupta I married Princess Kumara Devi. You see how we get to know so many things from the books of Farhan, from these pillars and from the writings of many learned people like Kalidasa. Isn't it interesting how the bricks of history, how these sources reconstruct our past and help us to know so many fascinating facts about our glorious past? Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. You can also register for free at deltastep.com or download the DeltaStep app and get access to all our 5000 plus amazing videos as per your school syllabus. Master each topic with our adaptive practice technology, get million plus questions with step-by-step solutions and unlimited mock tests. Get all your doubts resolved instantly. Learn via games and win amazing prizes like PlayStations and iPads. So at DeltaStep, learning is not just fun and easy, it is rewarding too. So register for free now.